Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Isle of Man in the UK. This is John and Mike's MMA Corner.
UFC Belfast has a new name to the UFC roster. And Mark, before we talk about the fight you got coming up, mate, let's talk about the past year, bud. Like, what a year!
I knew that was coming.
Oh yeah, God, man, I can't not talk about it. It's a roller coaster. God, how can you summarize this year, mate? Because it's ending on a high, but what?
How can I summarise it? Things are sent to test you, and I've certainly been tested outside the cage as well. So, you know, but we got there in the end, mate, didn't we? We're where we wanted to be now. So
Yeah.
with the UFC.
I was going to say, because you had the Bama titles championship going down, all that was happening, and injuries, everything going on like that, and now you're with the UFC. Like, come on, let's talk about how the UFC came knocking. What happened
right,
there?
So, basically, I had a rough year. It is now, there is certain things, I'd rather just leave in the past, and the past is the past, so I'm just going to leave certain things there,
Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk about stuff like, leading up to it. There was a point where I thought about retirement and stuff, and a lot of that was obviously because of I had a couple of injuries, and also at this sort of level, just before you break through to someone like the UFC, you're basically training full time, but without the funds,
Yeah.
And it just got to a point where I would train, picked up an injury, couldn't fight, and I was broke, mate. I was just broke. I'm broke as in financially, and broke as in like
physically.
As a person, I was broke, you know what I mean? We're fighters and stuff, but some things hit us hard, So I'm at the time I made a bit of a rash decision to sort of like, I need to go back to work, get my finances together, sort things out. I took a few months out. I got my finances back up together, went back to work, doing my trade, and then I thought, right, I'm going to give this another crack. It's still in me, you know what I mean? I felt like at the point where I sort of, let's say broke, at the point where I broke, I felt like it was also the point where I was just coming into my own, you know what I mean? I was just starting to find my style, find myself as a fighter, and so I thought, right, I'm not done. And then I sort of rang, I believe it was Jude Samuel and Bama. I rang them up and I was like, look, mate, I'm not done. Get me a fight. And then they offered me Stu Austin.
Yeah.
And which behind the scenes, I sort of messaged Stu and said, look, mate, because me and Stu are good friends. We trained together at Trojan Free Fighters for like 3 or 4 years, and we were the only two heavyweights there, so like we knew each other inside out, But we was away from each other for about 2 years, 18 months, 2 years, and we both developed. We were different than what we were 2 years ago, and I sort of said to him, look, mate, you're on a couple fight win streak. You're now the interim champion because obviously, my difficulties I had. I wasn't sure whether I was going to retire or not or whatever. But I said, look, I'm coming back and they've offered me you. I just want you to know, Stu, just because it's me or whatever, don't think that you can't take the chance to have a go at this. Like, we're both working towards the same goals. If this fight comes about, you've got to take it. Forget about it's me, I'm just a different opponent, and vice versa. So we sort of like had a chat about it and said, yeah, let's do it. It's all about entertaining the fans and let's entertain the fans. So obviously the fight happened. It was one of my strangest fights, really. The fight went my way, but it was just mentally it was strange because it was like I was holding back a lot, and Stu knew what I was going to do. I know what he's going to do. We both know each other's games. Even though we've been away and developed, both know each other's bases and strong points. And but I was lucky enough to get the win. I got the knockout, and from that point, I signed with a new management company, and that they were in contact with UFC and stuff, and the UFC were interested in taking me on, and so that's how it come about. Bit of a long story, but that's how it
it's
come
mega,
about.
yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, because it must have been kind of weird then when you finished, Stuart. It's like kind of like, yes, I've won, but at the same time, like, that's my dude.
Yeah, it's like obviously because I caught him flush, and
Yeah.
they give it KO, but I think it was a knockout. He was gone. First of all, initially, I was celebrating and that, but then you notice in the video, the first thing I wanted to do, once I sort of initiated celebrating, I was like, shit, just not happy, mate. You know what I mean? And so I was like, I just went over and just made sure he was all right, and but he's back on winning forms now anyway. He dropped the light heavyweight.
Yeah, he did.
I think he's going to be a strong force at light heavyweight because I float around naturally. My walk around weight is my fight weight, so I walk around like around 240, 245, which I think is a good weight for heavyweight.
Yeah.
But Stu was struggling to keep at 230. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think light heavyweight is going to be a good division.
Yeah.
He's strong. So I wish him all the luck with it as well.
Yeah, he had a great first win. Euro FC MMA, like their first event, he was on there and he got the win. Yeah, it was great to see that. Yeah, he's a top. Yeah, he's a good lad.
You change from being a small heavyweight to a big light heavyweight, then, don't you? So
Yeah. But
it's.
I can remember he put a post up when he weighed in against me. He was like 232 pound. He weighed in with his trainers on, so he was like say 230. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I post up the next day saying, right, I've weighed in, and then the next day he's like, I'm back up to 230, so he's like the same size as me, and like heavyweight, you know what I mean? So it's just like, and you know what I mean? The guy's ripped when he weighed in at light heavyweight. I was looking at him thinking, he's a specimen, like he's got good genetics.
Yeah. I like cake, and so does Mike. So
I'm not too keen on cake. It's everything else before I like.
Yeah, it's the stuff before it.
Yeah. The cake, I can leave the cake like.
We're hiding the specimens. That's what we're doing.
I've been called specimen. Well, I've given a few specimens, but.
Your new management. You got signed to the UFC. Your opponent Ledette, he's made his UFC debut, so he's got that out of the way. Do you think, because you've been on that stage before in a sense of big stage, big lights?
Yeah.
Do you think you'll be all right then? There's no kind of, because they always talk about jitters. I'd imagine you'd be okay with it.
Mate, do you know what? I've been through shit like I'm going to be open and honest. I don't want people to feel sorry for me and shit like that. You know what I mean? But
we won't.
We don't.
Yeah, no. I've been through shit to get to where I'm to. Do you know what I mean? And now I'm here. I'm just going to enjoy it. I ain't got no jitters and that. I'm going to get in there and just do what I love doing.
Yeah.
The last 3 fights I've adopted. Last 3 fights I've had, I've adopted a completely new attitude of just going in there and enjoying it.
Yeah.
And it showed, you know what I mean? It showed. My last 3 fights, I think I've just come into my own. I've become a completely different fighter. And it's the same with this, It's UFC. Take away the crowd, it's just another day in the office, you know what I mean? So that's the attitude I'm taking in there, so...
Well, I was going to say, the good thing is, it is in Belfast. That's pretty close to home. You know what I mean? It's...
Yeah, the timescales sound is all
exactly. Your travel's all right. You know what I mean? It's...
And I do like the Irish fans. They're crazy for the fight.
They just like a fight. They don't really care.
They don't care who it is or where it is.
As long as it's not an Irish guy opposite you, they don't mind. Like
I'm looking forward to entertaining those guys. You know what I mean? I know they're crazy. They follow. The way they follow their own fighters and stuff. They're passionate about.
The atmosphere is.
So hopefully, I'll give them a good show and entertain them. So. Yeah,
I think you'll get that with your opponent.
It's a great matchup.
Yeah.
I saw it catch that.
Yeah, I was about to say that's what I was about. That's literally what you were saying there. I think it's no way it can't be entertaining because you and Ledette, the way you match up together, it kind of makes for a good fight. It makes for a good scrap.
Yeah, it's my style's I'm a kickboxing style. I didn't come from a Pacific background, as you know, I didn't come from a Pacific background, but I like to throw my kicks and I like to throw my hands, and I think Ledet is a very good boxer. You know, I'm
Yeah.
not going to deny, you know, I know his strengths. He's got very good hands. You know, he's got quick lightning hands. I don't think he's a knockout artist, but he's a guy if you let him, he's going to catch you. You know. But it's going to be interesting because it's going to be like the sort of kickboxer boxer sort of cliche, you know.
Yeah. No, it is.
Yeah,
I loved it when I heard the matchup. I kind of thought it was an ideal kind of scenario for you because you can just.
Yeah, I think it's whoever's, you know, the obviously the matchmaker, UFC matchmakers is they've looked at it and they've put it together well, haven't they? Yeah, a few people said that to me, you know. So
training camp wise, how's it gone then with training camp for you? Then getting ready for the fight, you know, because obviously you just kept it as normal.
Yeah, normally I tend to, the last couple of fights I've gone away, you know, I've gone over to Thailand and stuff. This one I've stayed here. I've done, you know, a good friend of mine, my strength conditioning coach Adam Barr. He's got a big conditioning gym, which basically we've put a cage in now. We put, you know, the ring, and we put everything in one gym. I train out of a club I fight out of a club I very first started at in my small hometown, All or Nothing Bridgewater. That's the club I fight at. But we also set up with my conditioning coach. We set up our own sort of gym with everything in, and we bring all the guys in. You know, we bring. You know, I've got a decent BJJ coach and also training partner Matthew Mel. You know, there's another young lad coming through, really good BJJ. He's Jordan Kirk. He you know, he's been brought in. I brought in top boxers for this camp. You know, there's another guy, Dan Guthrie. He's had like 70 plus boxing fights, lightning quick hands, very similar style to Ledet. And also as well, I've got to give Paul Craig and the Scottish Hit Squad. I've got to give them a good shout out because they've been good to me. They invited me up there. I've spent a few days up with Brian and Paul, and they put me through my paces. And they also come down the opposite end of the country because we're right down here, and they come down to us as well. So and you know, to help me out and put me through the rounds there. You know, so. You know, and then we find out 2 days later that Paul Craig's been signed.
Yeah,
so.
Saw that. Yeah, I saw that he was training with you, and then that happened. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I'm back up. I'm going back up to those guys. I was supposed to be going this weekend, but obviously I've got some medical things to do for the UFC. This is a different ball game, guys. You know what I mean? So I've got to get these things cleared up. So I'm planning on going up next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, to spend 3 days back up there again. You know, just to polish up.
Yeah.
And it's good because I've been spending a few days with him, going away for a couple of weeks, working on some stuff, and then go back up, So we're both evolving.
Yeah.
Out each other, but then using it with each other. If that makes sense. You know what I mean?
It's good to cross train, though. It is good to cross train.
I love it as well. I think, you know, there's the old school ways was like, yeah, you've got to be loyal to this gym and that gym. I'm loyal to my gym. I'm loyal to my head coach, Arthur Meek. You know what I mean? But also as well, I like getting out, and I like branching out. I like mixing up with different people. I like going to different gyms. I like meeting different people. It just keeps everything alive for me. You know, it keeps everything. I enjoy it, you know.
Yeah.
If I'm just stuck in one place, it just becomes repetitive. It's the same as everything. If you enjoy something, but if you keep doing it constantly in the same place, same scenario, it becomes repetitive. So it's good to branch out with different people.
Yeah, I noticed that you trained with Mr. Hill as well, another UK heavyweight coming through the ranks. He's been down to train with you as well.
Garen Hill.
Yeah,
he come down. He's over the bridge from us, over in Wales. I think he's about an hour's drive.
Yeah,
you know, different, but only an hour's drive. You know,
that's handy though that he's close. You got another, and he's got a fight. He's got a fight on. And is it the end of the month at the Made for Cage? I think he's at Made for the Cage against James Mulhern, is it? Am I right?
Mulhern.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm not, you know, that's down to James and Garant to that it's down to them to work. So I'm not going to give away too much or whatever. But I do think he's one of these. How do you say it? Like silent creepers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's flew under the radar.
He has.
All of a
Ninja.
sudden he's come up a little bit, and I think it's not going to be an easy fight. I don't think.
No, it's a big test.
Now
It's a big test against James, yeah.
He gave, I'm higher ranked than him, and there's certain aspects of his game that he gave me problems in. So, yeah.
It's good though. It's good that you've got that though. You've got another heavyweight to mess around with, and he's not that far. That's one big key to think that you can always fall on that. If you're ever thinking, I need someone.
Yeah, that's the thing. I have got a couple of heavyweights about, but like Garant Hill, he's an hour or so away. But all in all, I do have to travel to get my training in. Because it just seems to be from Bristol down. Us heavyweights are few and far between. There is one or two like within an hour away, but the average size guys, sort of like lightweight, welterweight, middleweight guys, they're in abundance. But us heavier guys, we sort of have to branch out a bit. But it's also hard when you're not signed as well to try and find sparring partners, because most guys you're trying to spar with when you're not signed are potential guys that you could be fighting. But it's a bit different now. Now, I mean, with the UFC, I can sort of like message certain guys and say, can you fancy doing some sparring? Because I've got no chance of fighting them now.
It's good that,
And it's good for clubs when you turn up there as well, that they can actually say that UFC fighter Mark's here, etc.
It's good like PR for them.
It's good for the it's good for the gyms and what have you.
Yeah, my autograph's getting better now.
You can spell your name now.
You changed your hands now, have you?
My spelling ain't that great, mine. I was trying to tell by my social media, but you don't need to spell it. Okay?
Yeah. No.
Get an etch a sketch and you can do a few at the same time,
No, Mark, honestly, I was made up. Like, it just came out of the blue, the signing, and I was like...
Do you know what? It's actually good for the end of the year. Like, there's been a few names that have...
handful of British fighters
all
signed
at the
up.
same time.
Yeah.
And it feels great,
I'm made up for you, mate, honestly. It's great news.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, and me as well, so... But, they often say sometimes, right at the most difficult times is often the best times that come straight after. So I just think, anyone that's going through the same sort of shit that what I did with their career, just keep plugging, because it will come, you know what I mean? You just got to keep believing.
Persistence. Persistence.
You must have a lottery win coming.
I know, I've gone with that. I know, I need to buy... I'm going to win the lottery. I just need to buy the tickets first.
You're looking at 2 lottery winners coming in.
Yeah, Mark, honestly... I can't wait to see you throw down in Belfast. It's going to be absolutely awesome. It's going to be on UFC Fight Pass. It'll be on BT Sport. The world can watch it, buddy. It's amazing. Before we let you shoot off, Mark, what's your social media, buddy, so people can jump on and message you and you'll try to spell back?
There's my page, my fight page, which is under Mark the Hand of Godbeer, and my Twitter and my Instagram is under Mark Godbeer UK. So give me a follow. So I've only just gone on to the whole Twitter and Instagram thing. So give me some likes.
Happy days. Yeah, we'll stick it on the description below anyway, so people can jump onto it. And Mark as well. Obviously, you got Reebok will be sponsoring you as well, so that's awesome stuff. Get some free kit. Happy days.
Yeah, new bag.
New bag.
Bag with a strap on it.
And what I was going to say as well. Give it. You mentioned Jim before, but anyone else you think you've not mentioned, give shout outs and thanks to.
Yeah, just obviously all my sparring partners and training partners, my coaches, Adam Barr, Arthur Meek, Matthew Mao, those guys, and Booster as well. Booster Fightwear, they've been really good to me.
Sweet.
They've supported me.
Nice
really
kit.
And my management, Duello Sports Management. They've been really good to me. Really good management team. They've put me on the map and they've looked after me inside and outside. Well, I haven't been inside the cage with me yet, but outside the cage they've really looked after me.
Look, you put yourself on the map with those hands. That's what you did that work, buddy. Honestly, made up for you. Absolutely, honestly, Mark, can't wait for this to throw down. So thank you so much for some of your time, mate. Honestly, it's great to catch up with you. And again, have just a hell of a scrap.
Yeah, that's my plan, mate. I'm not holding back now. I think it's time to start entertaining. So let's go out there and entertain. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So,
there we go.
And I enjoy it. So, in entertaining myself as well. So.